Good evening, and welcome to our International News Roundup. I'm Serena, and tonight we bring you the most significant developments from around the globe on this Sunday, September 28th, 2025. From Africa's political upheavals to Asia's natural disasters, from Europe's escalating conflicts to the Americas' ongoing challenges, today's news reflects a world grappling with both human resilience and mounting tensions. We'll take you across 5 continents to understand how these events shape our interconnected world. Let's begin our journey in Africa, where political alliances are reshaping the continent's relationship with international justice. We start tonight with a significant development that could reshape Africa's relationship with international law. The Alliance of Sahel States has announced its immediate withdrawal from the International Criminal Court, a decision made on September 22nd by Mali, Niger, and Burkina Faso. Mali's Prime Minister Abdoulaye Maïga took a strong stance at the United Nations, denouncing what he called foreign interference in the Sahel region. In particularly sharp language, he accused France, Ukraine, and Algeria of supporting armed terrorist groups in the region. This withdrawal represents more than a legal maneuver. It signals a broader shift in how these West African nations view international institutions and their sovereignty. Meanwhile, the Democratic Republic of Congo faces a grave health crisis as an Ebola epidemic ravages Kasai province. The outbreak has claimed 42 lives out of 64 recorded cases, highlighting the ongoing vulnerability of Central African healthcare systems to infectious diseases. In contrast, the Seychelles demonstrated the strength of its democratic institutions as 77,000 voters participated in presidential and legislative elections. Though results indicate the process may head to a second round between opposition leader Patrick Hermany and incumbent president Wavel Ramkalawan. These developments underscore Africa's complex political landscape, where sovereignty concerns, health crises, and democratic processes intersect in ways that will shape the continent's future. Turning to Asia, where nature's fury has dominated headlines as communities across multiple nations battle the aftermath of an exceptionally powerful typhoon. The devastating storm has struck the Philippines, Taiwan, Hong Kong, China's Guangdong region, and Vietnam with unprecedented force. In response to this tragedy, Pope Leo XIV offered prayers for the victims during a special Mass at St. Peter's Square, expressing his solidarity with the affected populations. Vietnam has mobilized an extraordinary response with 100,000 military personnel deployed to assist 250,000 evacuated residents as the typhoon continues its destructive path. But nature isn't the only force claiming lives in the region. India mourns a tragic human disaster. A deadly stampede during a political rally in the country's south has killed at least 39 people on September 27th. This incident, occurring at an event for popular actor turned politician Vijay, has led to legal action against his party and raises serious questions about crowd safety at mass political gatherings. On a more positive note, China celebrated a remarkable engineering achievement with the opening of the world's highest bridge, suspended 625 meters above a gorge in Guizhou province, a testament to the region's ambitious infrastructure development. From natural disasters to human tragedies to engineering triumphs, Asia's stories today remind us of both our vulnerability and our capacity for remarkable achievement. In Europe tonight, the ongoing conflict in Ukraine has reached a terrifying new intensity. Russia launched what officials describe as one of the largest aerial attacks since the war began, deploying nearly 500 drones and 50 missiles against Ukrainian targets. The assault killed at least 4 people in Kyiv, according to the latest reports, while causing massive damage to civilian infrastructure. This escalation has prompted neighboring Poland to mobilize its air forces in response to potential airspace violations. The attack represents a significant escalation in what many analysts see as Russia's strategy to break Ukrainian resistance through overwhelming force against civilian targets. Meanwhile, Moldova finds itself at a crucial crossroads as citizens participate in legislative elections that could determine the country's European future. The vote pits pro-European forces against pro-Russian camps, with allegations of Russian interference casting shadows over the democratic process. In Berlin, at least 60,000 demonstrators gathered for a Together for Gaza rally, protesting the ongoing war and calling for international action. This massive turnout reflects the deep European concern over the humanitarian crisis in the Middle East and demonstrates how global conflicts resonate across European societies. Europe today faces pressure from multiple directions: military aggression on its eastern borders, democratic challenges in its neighborhood, and moral imperatives from conflicts beyond its boundaries. Across the Atlantic, the Americas grapple with the ongoing consequences of President Trump's renewed presidency since his January 2025 inauguration. Latin American nations face what sources describe as new Trumpist recriminations, with Washington implementing a series of ultimatums including increased tariffs, mass deportations, and sanctions against several countries. This aggressive stance has strained relationships across the hemisphere and created uncertainty for millions of people. The human cost of regional tensions became tragically clear in Argentina, where a triple femicide has shocked the nation. 3 young women, Lara, Morena, and Brenda, were tortured and killed in an attack live-streamed online, sparking thousands of protests demanding justice and highlighting the ongoing crisis of gender-based violence in Latin America. From a different perspective, the United States honored military families today as the White House proclaimed the Day of Gold Star Mothers and Families, calling on Americans to display flags in recognition of those who have lost loved ones in military service. Meanwhile, the National Hurricane Center continues monitoring Hurricane Humberto and Tropical Depression 9 in the Atlantic, with marine warnings in effect as the region prepares for potential storm impacts. These stories reflect the America's ongoing struggles with political tensions, social justice, and natural threats that continue to shape the hemisphere's future. In our final continental segment, we turn to the Southern Pacific, where Australia and Papua New Guinea have postponed the signing of a historic defense agreement originally designed to counter China's growing influence in the Pacific region. This agreement would have established mutual assistance between the two nations and strengthened military cooperation in response to Beijing's expanding presence in this strategically crucial region. The postponement raises questions about regional security arrangements at a time when Pacific nations seek to balance competing global influences. Meanwhile, the U.S. Coast Guard has suspended its search for 2 men missing off Kauai's coast, highlighting both the dangers of Pacific waters and the limits of even the most intensive rescue operations in this vast ocean region. Air Austral has adjusted its flight schedule to Madagascar due to ongoing crisis situations since September 25th, demonstrating how regional instability continues to affect transportation and economic connections across the Indian Ocean. As we conclude tonight's global roundup, several themes emerge from today's events across our world. We've witnessed how nations struggle to balance sovereignty with international cooperation, from the Sahel States ICC withdrawal to Moldova's European aspirations. We've seen nature's devastating power alongside human resilience, from Asia's typhoon response to the ongoing conflicts in Europe. Most importantly, we've observed how local events, whether in Argentina's streets, Ukraine's cities, or the Pacific's strategic waters ripple across our interconnected world, affecting us all. These stories remind us that understanding our world requires looking beyond borders, recognizing that distance doesn't diminish our shared humanity or our collective stake in these developments. Thank you for joining us tonight. Continue following these developing stories on our digital platforms, and join the global conversation about how these events shape our common future. I'm Serena. Have a good evening, and we'll see you tomorrow for another comprehensive look at our changing world.